What do you think would happen first, the alien invasion or robots taking over the world?
I love it. I love that. What if they team up? What if aliens are just waiting for the robots to get to that point?
Right? To throw us off a little bit,
Yeah.
and then they come
That's
in.
a great question because it's like, where are the aliens? I feel like they've like.
Where are the aliens at?
Where are they at? Where are they? Maybe they are waiting for the robots to get to a certain point.
Yeah. You know, it's a classic relationship thing. You like a girl, she's in a relationship.
Yeah.
You wait for her to break up with her mans, then you slide in.
But you gotta wait till she's ready.
You gotta wait till she's
Emotionally.
ready. Emotionally,
Yeah.
you know. And same thing, girl with the guy. But like you pick your moment when the moment's right.
Yeah.
The aliens, they pick in their moment, dude.
They could be.
Yeah.
They really could be. And they are probably watching from a point that we can't see them watching, if that makes any sense.
Sure. Yeah. Well, in our last episode, we were talking about, you know, where is heaven geographically, and like they're saying that they're watching us through a window, you know,
Right.
and it's like, well, where is that window? It's not in the clouds because airplanes get up in the clouds, or maybe like you were talking about, not interdimensional, but you know, something we talked about.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe the aliens are looking at us from an angle in which we can't see.
But they can see us.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, have you ever, well, probably not an issue with modern day cars, but you're driving and you're listening to AM or FM.
Yes.
I did this a lot with my dad growing up because AM has a lot of sports channels, and AM has a higher, I think AM has a longer distance. I don't know much about AM, but I know that you can listen to it longer distance. So like for us and where we are, living home is pretty far away from where we are at school now.
Yeah.
So the FM channels, we don't get them here.
But
We can kind of get the AM, if that makes any sense.
There
It's
you
like
go.
two different radio frequencies. I go into all of that because sometimes you're driving and all of a sudden it's like you're like, oh, we must be out of signal.
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe how it is. Like our telescopes are like the FM radios, and the aliens are rocking AM.
No way.
So they kind of are out of that little ring of influence for us, but they can kind of see us.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're waiting for the robots.
I love that so much.
They're
That's such
waiting
a
for robots.
great way of
AM
explaining
and
it.
FM.
Right? Do robots become aliens? Do robots... It would be easy for them to get off this planet opposed to us because they can breathe in space. Like, you know, we kind of talked about, like, what would the aliens that we encounter look like? We said, well, maybe we would encounter machinery of theirs, like a rover, before it's actually them.
Mm-hmm.
But do you believe that the alien species would be robots? Or do you think they'd be more organic?
So it's I mean, robots would take over if, for me, one, they're programmed to, and that would be programmed by humans, really evil people, bad people, or, which is probably the more realistic, is the artificial intelligence where they eventually create their own consciousness and they say, well, hey, we feel like here are all these issues on planet Earth that the humans don't see or the humans aren't doing anything about it. We can solve it. And it's always like in movies, it's eradicate all humans, and that's how we solve the world's issues. It's kind of like Ultron, I guess, to a degree. It's very fascinating. So probably more of the AI. And so to answer your question, it would just depend on maybe the artificial intelligence that takes over. Are they as curious as us? Or are they more curious? Because if I were to answer aliens from our perspective, I think we as a species are curious enough to want to explore. We just don't have the know-how to do it yet.
Yeah.
So it would be like, would the robots be capable or more so curious enough to even want to go and explore?
Right.
Or maybe they have like a conquering... I mean, if you're going to essentially destroy your own creator, which is crazy to think about, you probably have some kind of conquering emotion in you, so you probably want to expand the universe and see what you can do. Yeah. Or do you think that the aliens that we will experience are robots and not necessarily the aliens themselves either? Like their own creations? Because
yeah, that's interesting. I think what I always envisioned the aliens being is exactly what we see in the mirrors. I see them as being us. If God, if He created us, I feel like when He goes to another planet, if He did create another race, I feel like He would also create exactly what He made us to be. It's just His second trial run.
Right.
I don't think He would physically change the appearance of things. But I also like this idea that, let's say eventually we get off this planet here. Some of us stay, some of us go to keep the resources the way they are, meaning not to thin on them too much. And then eventually when we come back and revisit, maybe we've physically changed from being out in the space. You don't know what that would do to you, and you come back.
Sure.
And then we almost have more of an alien-like appearance, but yet we're still the same thing. I'm so sorry, what was your question?
You were on something though.
I was on my own thoughts there.
It would be our alien encounter. Would they be the actual aliens, or would they be like the creation of an alien from the aliens? Like, would they be robots? But from the alien perspective.
I feel like it would probably be the aliens.
Yeah.
That's
another thing too. It's like the aliens. It's like
aliens. Well, it's so interesting. I constantly wonder, like, when you think of aliens, we think of outer space, extraterrestrial, unidentified flying object, like the whole nine of not from this world.
Otherworldly.
In the last episode, not this last episode, but the episode before that, we were also talking about, like, when we look to the stars, our grandparents, they all look towards the same stars.
Yeah.
They all wonder these same questions. And what I was thinking about is, so other civilizations that maybe are not as advanced, their definitions of aliens might just be outsiders. People that we come to, let's say we went to the Congo, right?
Sure.
Some place that it's only dubbed the Heart of Darkness. And you have a lot of different tribes there that are underdeveloped, and it's fine that they're living in their little bubble, if you will. But if we came with the Gucci sweaters and the Timberlands and the backwards Yankee no brim, they would be very confused. And like the appearance, not just in skin coloration, but in style, the way we speak, and also whatever vehicle we pulled up in, drastically different than everything they have. And in many ways, that could be kind of this outside alien UFO kind of perspective. Yeah. Where I'm going with this is when this episode drops, this is the week of Thanksgiving.
Yep.
When the colonizers pulled up to the Native Americans, do you think that they thought of us as aliens? Or do you think that they just accepted us as brothers? Or is there like real history context that you're aware of?
Yeah. That is fascinating, because it's like this, everything that it's not to sound like Kanye, but it's a paradigm shift.
He do be using that word a lot.
Yeah, but it really is, because you're generationally have known the world as it is, and that's all you've known.
Yeah.
And just imagine one day I don't know what you would do. I don't know what Native Americans would do on a typical day. But say you're just looking over at the horizon and you look at the ocean, all of a sudden this unidentified floating object, UFO, is headed your way. You've never seen it before. Just how it interacts with the water is nothing like you've ever created. And as it gets closer and closer, all of a sudden, now here are these almost like people, but they're a different skin color. They're speaking a whole other language. It's very fascinating. I feel like it would feel very alien-like. I just had this random thought. I like where we're going with this conversation.
Yeah.
But just like how now we are on this earth, and perhaps those natives did feel that the people coming from England or wherever they were coming from were aliens. Well, now we have such a globalized view that we're all humans and all this great stuff. Imagine maybe we get to one day where we have our neighbors in our galaxy. It's so now the real aliens are people from other galaxies.
Right.
That'd be crazy.
At first, when we encounter, let's say, the homies from Neptune, right? And the Neptune, where
Neptune squad pulls up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they in their funk music and their I don't know what kind of ships they're pulling up in, but they're something wild. And they all got mohawks for no reason. Yeah, I don't know why. Sense. It makes no sense, but like that's what they're pulling up with. I'm trying to create a visual here, folks. And they were like, these are everything about them is different, right? And going back to the Native American colonizers, it's like I bet you the smells were different on both sides too. Even the sound of like the Mayflower and everything pulling up, those are sounds that you have never heard otherwise before. And so the sounds, like literally everything about this is different. Everything about the five senses with these things are just completely thrown off.
Yeah.
But then eventually, is this unified of those are just the homies from Neptune.
Yeah.
We're all the same. And then it is the strangers are ones from the UFOs are from other galaxies. That's a really cool concept.
When you become acquainted with the strangers, when they know they're no longer the stranger.
I love that. Wow, is that cool?
That's fast. Yeah. Maybe one day, maybe our intergalactic neighbors are no longer aliens. They are just our neighbors.
Would that change our perspective big time though? So let's say that we do become neighbors with Neptune, Jupiter, all that. Would we even would the idea of aliens go out the window? Unidentified flying object, does that all go out the window?
That's a good point.
And if it hasn't, I think here's why. Because I wonder why if we met so many different kinds of people here on the earth, and that idea never went out the window prior. I think it's because all we have to do, the only thing that's stopping us from getting to that moment for our humanity is meeting another species outside of this planet.
Yeah.
Once we meet one, I think all of it goes away.
Yeah.
What do you describe? Something else from another planet that you haven't met?
Right, and then in that case, it's probably the next step would just be another dimension or another universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or a species that's on the other side of the black hole. Like, maybe that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something that you can always talk about, and I'm sure in future episodes we'll talk about this in another lens, because I think we've talked about aliens in a couple episodes prior, but every time we do, it's just always this different. There's something else that we talk about. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
To go back to perhaps from a human species, the most relatable feeling that we've had so far in terms of encountering aliens or extraterrestrial probably would be when pilgrims and colonizers did land here in I would say the U.S., but North America, South America, the new land. Yeah, that would be such a fascinating, weird, scary, curious feeling that, I don't know. What do you think they thought? Because I like where you went with that.
I mean, you have to think that they thought that they were. Here's the thing. They didn't think it was God. I could imagine that.
Yeah.
Right. I know from what I can gather, from Native Americans and kind of their religious element, there weren't more than one. There was their God, right? So when you have a bunch of the colonizers pulling up, I know they didn't think it was that. I think there was an inherent curiosity and fascination as well.
Sure.
Obviously, I don't know if the term back then, aliens, was a thing either. So I don't know, but I think for them it was different. That's not just the tribe from down the river. This is something completely different. That even if the word alien wasn't canonized and used back then, I feel like that's the only thing you can think of, right? And, this is before they had a map of even what the world they lived on looks like. Yeah. Like, this is Minecraft when you go down a few biomes and you find, a village.
Yeah.
And it's always, things. And then you see, a weird creature come night that you've never seen before. And it's like, wow, I wonder what happens, if I take them out.
Yeah.
What do they leave behind? Do I get an ender pearl? There's a lot of just those weird, none of this makes any sense. And there's the communication barrier too. It's are they threat? Are they like on our side? And all these same things is exactly what we'd say if we found
Right.
aliens.
It's I don't know why this game in particular came to mind because this is a pretty universal concept when it comes to video games where it's like you have yet to unlock this character or this region on the map. I think of like GTA.
Yeah.
And I think of the map of Los Santos. When you first start the game, if you go to the map, it's like all of these like dark, cloudy, blurry, pretty much black regions on the map because you've yet to explore that. We'd have to look this up, but it is super funny to see what maps look like from a European perspective prior to coming over to the Americas. I mean, Native Americans were called Indians at the beginning because they literally thought if you just traveled west, you would be able to get to India. So they knew India existed and all that stuff, but they didn't know that there was this massive land blocking before you could even get to India.
Right.
They literally just thought if you go west, it might be faster to get to India. And these must be the Indians. That's a pretty generalization, but that's why they're called Indians.
Yeah. And I never understood that.
Yeah.
Like growing up, which I thought was kind of fascinating. But
they literally did not know that continental North America existed.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though to think people believe that the Vikings made it to North America way before 1492.
Yeah.
Which not even 1492. People were in North America before 1492. We give all the credit to Columbus, but there's some other pioneers that made it over before Christopher Columbus did too. So.
And I do think that besides getting to the moon, in the case that actually did happen, I do find our greatest achievement in mankind was discovering North America, and I can go into that. And it always bummed me out. You have that theory that the Vikings maybe found it first because it kind of tarnishes that achievement, I guess. But I mean, regardless of who discovered it, I think it's like the second greatest achievement of mankind that we even did find.
It was like the space race before the space race even existed.
It was. This is right. So Pangea. This is like one of my most favorite concepts. Like when I have my own house one day, like rather some people have like a poster of the 50 states or of the globe. I want a poster of Pangea. That to me is just somewhere like the coolest things ever. If I have a dog, I'm gonna name it Pangea. I don't know why, cool. But it's like it is such a cool concept. Obviously, ice age happens, right? Continental drift. Pangea gets broken up. Sea levels rises, and there was a land bridge. I'm sure you know this, but a land bridge from Russia to Alaska, and then that gets covered up. So, and now you are isolated with North America, and these are our lost brothers and sisters for
however much time.
Yeah, so many years, at least over 1,000. And then the rediscovery of that. And then now you have a more unified, it took a long time to get there, but eventually it creates a unified world. It's very exciting.
It is.
And then now it goes into things we've talked about in prior episodes of like, now it's like exploring more of the ocean. But like that's like the last, I guess, big discovery that wasn't ocean related. I think that's incredible, Amazing.
It's very fascinating.
It also, I guess, explains why the Native Americans perhaps maybe look like they're more of a ethnicity that would come from Asia because you have that, obviously Asia then connected to Alaska and everything. And I always kind of wondered that growing up, but I think that's kind of neat as a way of, explaining that it's all one. I guess there's a reason for everything with just the geography of it all.
Right. We're also connected. It may not look like it at times, but with the concept of Pangea, we were actually literally connected, and then the land bridge between connecting Europe, so modern day Russia and Alaska, is fascinating as well. And then think about just the journey there too, because I mean, when you look at the map of the world, it's huge. But it's just so crazy to think about how really big it is. You make it from Alaska and you go down south. Yeah. You explore east. You're able to make it into modern day United States and Canada. But then you keep going down south. You continue to go down south, and you hear about the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Incas in Mexico and Central America. But then they keep going down. In South America, you have Machu Picchu.
Yep.
You have those natives from modern day Peru. You have there's some beautiful artwork done by Colombian Native Americans. The Muiscas are one. They made these really cool artifacts out of gold.
That's
Super cool stuff. And they came from Asia,
yeah,
I guess, which is
it's wild
to think about. Yeah. What a fascinating world. And then the idea of Thanksgiving is the older I get and the more historical reference that I get on it changes, but it's still super cool to think about the story of two different people coming together. And
yeah. I mean, we didn't know it at the time that these are our lost brothers and sisters from over 1,000 years ago. We didn't know it at the time that this is one of the last pieces of the world yet to be explored, because the world map isn't obviously what it is now, but it really was all of those things. And it sucks that there were a lot of atrocities that happened to tarnish this moment of reunification after all these years. I mean, there are movies, there's novels dedicated to like people finding their long lost brothers or sisters, or I mean, heck, in Star Wars, that's always the biggest twist is after all this we're related.
Yeah.
And in the same vein, that is this, but on a far grander scale for humanity. Atrocities aside, though, there is something to celebrate there. And I think that is very special. Do I think that football in Turkey is exactly like a kind of a strange way of celebrating this moment in history? I do. I think it's a very interesting holiday, but so is things like Easter, where it's about like Jesus, and you have like eggs and bunnies, and but they try to make like a cutesy version of it, and I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I don't know too much about Thanksgiving, but a little bit. Thanksgiving was sort of celebrated sporadically throughout American history, and it really didn't start picking up steam until like the 30s or 40s. FDR made it essentially a holiday where it's all right. I know we've been kind of celebrating this as a country around, but this is the day we're gonna actually all celebrate it, and then there's a unity behind it as well, and it is really cool. It's kind of to the idea of Thanksgiving is to sort of symbolize the American beliefs, freedom and all of those things. Yeah, it is interesting to see where we've taken it. I think capitalism has spun it.
Sure.
Because you have the Macy's Day Parade, and like everyone watches the Macy's Day Parade. And for me, I'm like, that's cool.
You pull a Gru's mom and you go,
It's becoming literally a stepping stone for Christmas, which is great in and of itself.
I agree.
And I love Christmas, but there's literally Black Friday. Before COVID even happened, Black Friday literally was 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving, yeah.
5 p.m. on Thanksgiving, 4 p.m. on Thanksgiving. It just kept getting pushed more and more and more back.
And the commercials that are advertising the times in which these places are open are during the big game on Thursday or the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah.
So it's also a day almost filled of like advertisements.
Yeah.
For the first day of the Christmas season kind of thing.
Exactly.
Which is very strange.
Yeah, modern day Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
With that, there is a big tradition that my family has on Thanksgiving. Never heard any other family say this, and I don't say that to gloat or anything, but I'm not gonna lie. It is the greatest Thanksgiving tradition of all time.
Okay.
And where this all stems from is there's not Thanksgiving movies, really. I mean, if you really sit and think about it, we talk about it's a stepping stone of Christmas, because that starting on Black Friday they start airing all the Christmas movies and everything.
Is Freebird? Is that
This is where I'm going with it.
Oh, okay, word. Okay.
This is, in case you guys have not heard of Freebirds, Your main character, Reggie, the turkey, is voiced by Owen Wilson, Lightning McQueen.
Wow.
This movie, if you've not seen, have you seen it?
I probably have. I know it's animated.
Okay.
I don't know what the plot is, so
Okay.
go at it.
Alan, this is the greatest movie ever created. This is better than Star Wars. This is better than Jingle All the Way. This is the greatest movie.
Okay.
This is the greatest Thanksgiving movie out there. It's the only Thanksgiving movie out there.
That's what I was thinking. I literally go Freebird. That's literally I can't think of anything else. I can't think of anything else.
It's not the greatest movie ever, but I think it is the greatest concept for a movie. Or at least I think it's the greatest holiday movie ever created. I'll always say that. It's not better than Star Wars, but I like to be blasphemous from time to time. So I'm putting
Throw it out there.
Yeah, it's better than Infinity War.
It's better than the whole portal scene.
Right? Oh my gosh. Okay, Freebirds has at least two more. That movie's way more iconic than the portal scene combined.
Oh yeah, I can picture 5 scenes from Freebird alone that I could put over the portal scene.
Right?
There's that one time where Reggie
he does the thing.
He does that thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know he does the thing. Everybody goes crazy when he does the thing.
Everybody goes crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So, Freebirds. It's a solid 10 out of 10, mind you. It is a movie. The hell's that movie about? It's 2 turkeys. Okay. They are time traveling turkeys.
Whoa.
They time travel in a time machine that's called the Egg, and it's a giant turkey egg.
Yeah.
And there's a prophet called the Great Turkey, and it's the god of all the turkeys.
The Great Turkey.
The Great Turkey.
Yeah.
The Great Turkey speaks to one of the other turkeys and says, "We need to get turkeys off the menu at Thanksgiving. You need to go back in time and change the meal that the Pilgrims ate with the Native Americans. Make it something other than turkey, right? So it's to save all of turkey kind. So the movie opens up with all of these turkeys getting fat and being dumb on a farm. And then eventually it follows Reggie, your main turkey voiced by Owen Wilson, who's trying to tell everybody, you idiot turkeys, they're just fattening you up so they can kill you and eat you. Nobody believes him. All of them die. Mm-hmm. He escapes. What a great character origin story.
That's huge,
right? He eventually gets abducted.
If that's not modern day humanity, I don't know what is.
I don't know what is.
Yeah.
He eventually gets abducted. This is like the greatest snuff film of all time. I don't believe none of that stuff. Don't be doing drugs. This is the greatest snuff film ever created, man. Time traveling turkeys and the prophet of the great turkey. The great turkey.
The great turkey.
Come on, son. You know his voice. I am the great turkey.
I've had some good turkey before, but I've never had great turkey.
That's what I'm saying.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Reggie gets abducted, and
by whom? By the Pilgrims?
Believe it or not, that would be a plot twist.
By a fellow turkey?
This is another good plot twist.
A chicken.
No. It gets crazier than that. This is modern day, right? A chicken? That would be nuts.
Chicken.
The main villain's a chicken, and he's trying to stop them from... The turkeys want to put the chicken on the menus.
Right.
Because the chicken, we're talking mad smack at the pen over from where the turkeys reside. Yeah. But they're like, no, we're not having
all this ends up being a Chick-fil-A commercial.
Eat
more chicken.
Eat more chicken.
Yeah.
They would do that. They would do that. So he gets abducted, and he gets abducted by like a bunch of like federal agents. It's because he's now the president's turkey. He's the pardoned turkey.
The pardoned turkey.
Yeah. So now he lives at the White House, and they're fattening him up so they can eat him as the pardoned turkey for Thanksgiving.
That's not right.
That's not right.
That's not right.
That's ill will. This is an insane movie, and then the other turkey, who I forget who he's voiced by.
Which, no spoilers, by the way.
No spoilers. I'm not telling you how the movie ends or nothing like that, but the movie ends like this. So the other turkey then...
This movie came out like 20 years ago, or like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
We're doing you a favor.
We're doing you a massive favor.
Yeah.
All right, watch it with your families. Yeah. It's a good time. This other turkey comes into the fold and pretty much says, we need to go back in time and get turkeys off the menu. And no turkeys in the past are going to listen to me. They need the presidential pardoned turkey. They'll listen to you.
Oh, yeah.
So then they go back in time.
Because they knew what a president was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is the greatest movie ever with no plot holes.
Because because Pilgrims knew George Washington.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you what's even greater. The turkeys discover how to do time travel before the humans.
That's true.
And the opening act is establishing how dumb turkeys are.
That's so funny.
Oh. Without saying too much, it is really cute as to how the movie ends. Maybe or maybe not, they do get turkeys removed from the menu. And that final scene, whatever it is they're eating, it is a very wholesome Thanksgiving final scene, and you know it's a fantastic movie. So that is my favorite Thanksgiving tradition.
That's you guys every year. You guys watch that
Every year.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
The Great Turkey.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
The Great Turkey.
it's fantastic, man. Now I did see on Disney Plus that they had dropped a sequel to the Santa Claus movies. Do you like the
Is
Santa
that
Claus
Tim
movies?
Allen?
Yeah. Do you have?
I watched. Who was?
My family's big on those. How's your family?
I actually think I just saw one of my little brothers watching that.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, is that you watching Santa Claus? Are you watching? Is that Tim Allen?
Is that Tim Allen?
Is that Buzz Lightyear? he did Buzz Lightyear, right?
In the flesh,
Okay,
yes, sir.
The Flash, yeah.
In the flesh.
Yes, we like that one. Is it the sequel where Jack Frost is?
Yeah.
Yes, that's good.
That's a great movie.
That's a good
I really like Jack Frost a lot. Yeah, so like on Thanksgiving, they're dropping two. Actually, it just came out. I know my family will probably watch that on Thanksgiving. There's 2 episodes. I think it's going to be like a 6-episode miniseries or something.
Is it still with Tim Allen?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
which is cool because he came back for this, but he didn't come. They didn't want him back for Lightyear. So it's kind of interesting. But hey,
I could use
I'm
some
happy they did it.
Christmas. I could use some Christmas originals.
Yeah.
I feel like for the last 10, 15 years, it's been watching the same things other than Hallmark,
Yes.
who's iconic
Right.
for those Christmas movies. It's kind of cool.
You know
I
what?
like that.
It is
Respect.
cool. I can't think of like the last 2 or 3 years like this. Maybe a sequel we've long waited for in regards to Christmas. I know that.
I know Hawkeye was kind of around Christmas time,
Yes,
but that's not Christmas. If that makes
right.
or maybe I haven't watched it, but
Yeah, it's like it's like set around Christmas, but it isn't about Christmas. So kind of to your point, yeah, it was cool though because it does take place in New York. So you get that New York Christmas
Love
kind of
New
Home Alone vibe.
Yeah.
Very very cool. So yeah, that was a big Christmas one last year. But yeah, Santa Claus and then Christmas Story 2, which that's big for us because we're from Cleveland and Christmas Story.
So they're coming out with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
a second one.
There's always that. I think the house is still around there, right?
It is.
Okay, that's the Christmas Story.
The Christmas Story House. Wow. So I mean, that's 2 big sequels right there. And then the Guardians of the Galaxy, they have their holiday special coming out as
that's
well.
right.
That's going to be about like 45 or 50 minutes long, and a holiday adventure with the Guardians. So I mean, I feel like the Christmas spirit really
It's there.
is, at least from a pop culture perspective of the sequels and whatnot, it's popping this year.
They've done a fantastic job, and when I say they, I have no idea who they is, but the people who control holidays.
They're doing awesome.
Yeah, they're doing great. The holiday controllers.
Right?
Sprinkle a little bit of there, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Because here we are talking about Thanksgiving and we go straight to Christmas.
We go straight to Christmas.
But that's just how our brain is. I
On
like
Christmas Day, we're going to be watching the Santa Claus
Yeah.
stuff.
it. Oh, Thanksgiving? Yeah.
Yeah, let's watch Great Turkey. Let's get that over with. Free birds.
Great,
great
free
movie.
birds.
Turn on Santa Claus.
It's probably been the last 5 years that I've been talking about this, but it's that time of year again where I start talking about Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Not Paul Blart Mall Cop, the
To me,
greatest
it's one of the
Black
most-
Friday movie.
It is the greatest Black Friday movie, and it does touch on Thanksgiving a little bit.
It does.
He does have some Thanksgiving in there.
Alan,
It's that time of year.
this is where I kiss the ring. This is where I bend the knee and say, I think that's the other Thanksgiving movie. Free Birds is not the only movie.
It's Paul Blart Mall Cop. Oh my gosh. Hey, Blart! Blart.
Dude,
I can't wait to watch that movie again. I don't know what it is about that
I
one.
don't drink.
I don't drink. Is that a tattoo?
Is that dude? That movie. Also, the villain with the simple name of Vec.
Vec.
Dude, Paul Blart Mall Cop slaps.
It does.
I love
It
that
does.
movie.
It's so... Oh my gosh, it's so perfect. I there really is a lot that you and I reference in our friendship from that movie too.
I feel like that's a big one. Despicable Me is a huge one.
Despicable Me is huge.
I feel like there's like another big one I'm missing, but those are like the two.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it.
I
But
feel like there's got to be one movie out there that is one of those probably early 2000 movies where it's a big family and they're
Monsters Inc. and Monsters University. I feel like that's the
movies that
other
we
one.
reference.
Yeah. That's up there. Or at least MU. I feel like MU more so than
Monsters University
Inc.
is huge for us.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to brainstorm what other movies
Or
are Thanksgiving.
You know, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have even thought of Paul Blart as much as I love that movie.
It's not really it is a Black Friday movie though.
To me,
so
it totally works.
Yeah.
It absolutely totally works.
Paul Blart.
You know, we were talking about, this was off-air conversation, how awesome these pumpkins are, because like, we can have these for Halloween and then all the way through Thanksgiving. And kind of with Paul Blart, you can watch that on Thanksgiving. It also works for your Black Friday. But then in the mall that he's protecting, right, there's also all this Christmas decor.
Yeah.
So it could also work all the way through Christmas as well. I think, like, longevity-wise with that one, it really does work for that whole season. There has to be another one. You know, there's like, isn't there a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special?
I'm sure. Oh, there is.
Okay.
Yep. It kind of explains the history of Thanksgiving and all that stuff, which
right.
I don't want to be that guy, which technically, but they do speculate that the Pilgrims.
I just caught you in a clip. There's going to be a clip, and whether this is what you're talking about now, I just caught you, bro.
You got me.
I did.
Actually, the Pilgrims didn't wear buckles on their shoes and on their hats.
Are you serious?
At that time.
This is a revelation, son.
They depicted pilgrims to be wearing that because when they started curating the idea of what pilgrims look like, that was what they were wearing at that time. So to make sense of it, it's like what's a fashion statement?
Today?
What do a lot of people wear like today? It's kind of tough.
I've seen too many Crocs. Way too many Crocs.
So it's like us starting to talk about this is like, hold on, let me pick a better example. It's like us talking about the hippies, for example.
Okay.
And we were depicting them in Crocs.
That's hilarious.
It's kind of like that.
That's hilarious.
They weren't wearing Crocs, but we're depicting them in Crocs.
It's
awesome. Kind of like that was when they started talking about the Pilgrims. It's like, all right, we're wearing Crocs. In this case, we're wearing buckles on our hats.
That is too funny.
We're going to depict the Pilgrim. I don't know what they were wearing. But the second thing is, these feasts were kind of centered around Thanksgiving, but they were more so kind of like just it was more diplomatic than anything. The settlers and the natives didn't really like each other as much as we say they did. It was more so, I'm trying to think of the actual tribe, but the tribe that celebrated Thanksgiving with the Pilgrims or the settlers, he was more so making a power play, saying, I'm buddy with these guys so that our rival tribes don't mess with us, kind of thing, which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
And all of that is also, they speculate that they didn't eat turkey. It was just fowl, like it was rabbits, deer.
Ah, okay.
Fun
Yeah.
fact.
Interesting. Turkeys are foul, as in like that's not a desirable. Like, why eat turkey when you can have rabbit and duck and all these other things that taste a lot better?
Right.
Okay.
Or and turkey might have been on the menu, but it wasn't like the centerpiece, like we all say.
Okay.
It was like, if it was even on the menu, it was
Sure.
kind of like off to the side.
Here's what I'll give turkey. Let's have a little review of turkey. If you
I'm very fascinated why turkey is.
Yeah.
It looks cool on the table.
I was gonna say, I think it's the most presentable slab of meat, right? It's also like the most heinous to cut up, but like I think it's very presentable. Yeah. You know, like a ham also looks cool because it's like that very cool like grenade like texture on the outside. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like it's a gumdrop shape if you sit it up. Like it's just kind of weird, you know. I guess turkey does look like it looks like it's an artistic centerpiece because that doesn't look like a bird. Like it makes no sense how it looks. But I think it's a sorry excuse for a slab of meat. Like I think
turkeys.
Yeah, I think it's some. I think that's like some bum ass meat, bro.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And turkey really isn't even that good.
It's not that good. People critique it like, this isn't watery enough. Since when has that ever been a problem with your meats?
Yeah, right?
You don't talk about watery chicken? I guess you kind of do. But you don't talk about watery steak or pork?
Yeah.
Like, what a weird thing to determine how good the turkey is based off how much liquid it's secreting. What a weird thing.
Right?
I like the white meat. I like the dark meat. Miss me with the white meat. What's up with this turf war with the colored meats?
Yeah, why is there a war? It's turkey. It's turkey. Come on.
And then you got the fools that are out here. Make sure you save the neck for me.
Yeah.
I like the neck.
Yeah.
All right, Sosa.
Yeah.
What a weird thing to like.
Whoa,
this guy's edgy. He eats the neck.
Yeah. It is interesting.
Yeah,
it looks cool.
Yeah.
It does. I'd actually think I've seen this depicted in like medieval times, so I'm like, why were they more advanced than us? You know when they have like, I think they had this in Shrek, where they have like pigs and they put the apple in the pig's mouth.
They did do this in Shrek,
right? I was like, I don't know why I'm thinking of Shrek right now, but I'm sure. I feel like I've seen some medieval movie where it's like the whole pig,
right?
It's slabbed in like butter or something. And you put an apple in it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That looks way cooler.
You're right. Here I am saying turkey's like was a beautiful centerpiece.
It is a really cool centerpiece, though.
That is baller.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just we have this year-round rotisserie chicken. It looks like the same thing. It's just smaller.
It's just smaller.
It tastes better. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, chicken tastes way better than turkey.
It tastes so much better.
I feel like it's more economically priced too.
I agree.
Yeah. You know what's really exciting when you go and get like your lunch meats? They're not taxing you based off different kinds of meat. Yeah. So like, I think we can all agree. Given the 4 types: chicken, turkey, pig, and cow.
Yes.
Cow is always the most expensive, typically. Cow and pork are always on the higher end.
The lunch meat cuts?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking like
just
if you go to a restaurant.
Sure,
like if you
steak.
want pork chops, steak.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, obviously a burger, maybe that's where things get a little cheaper, but I feel like steak's always most expensive. Chicken is always the least expensive.
Yes.
But when it comes to lunch meats, they're all priced the exact same.
They're all the same.
Which is kind of cool.
It is fascinating.
I think that's the only time I really take advantage of other, like, I don't think I ever get chicken lunch meat because I'm like, oh, shoot, for the same price, I can get the other cut.
I grew up on turkey lunch meat. I still to this day only like turkey. For some reason I don't like chicken lunch meat. I don't like the rotisserie chicken cut flavored stuff. I agree. What are some? Oscar Mayer makes it. What's the one that comes in that with the red lid?
Hershire Farms.
Thank you.
Or Hillshire or whatever.
Whatever, it's Hillshire or something. Yeah. I don't like the roast beef either. Which sounds maybe it's a hater.
Yeah.
Ham is good. It's ham and turkey for me.
Right.
I would probably actually go with turkey. Is my most go-to lunch meat.
Yeah.
But then I hear him hating on Thanksgiving because I don't like turkey.
Well, at that, I'm happy you played into my hand here. That's kind of where I'm going. Turkey, you make such a big deal about like the presentation, not you, but like at the work,
everybody,
right? Yeah. And it's like it's not watery enough. You know, like all these things, the different kinds of meat. I've never seen dark turkey lunch meat. In the same way that people complain about the dark meat of I want the dark meat from the turkey.
Yeah.
And it's like there's all these weird things that go into like the full picture turkey. But when you scale down a lunch meat turkey, I think it tastes way better. Yeah. Maybe it's because it has like nitrates and other things like make it taste a little nitrates.
Those nitrates slap.
They get you, bro.
Nitrates and phosphates. Oh man, that really just you put some nitrates in a meal, and you are living. But no, you're right. There must be something.
It's always those things like on lunch meat. They make such a big deal. You know, there's no nitrates in this one, and then like soap.
That's the best part.
then there's in soaps. It's like no parabens.
Yeah.
It's like what?
How am I supposed to be clean now? There's no parabens in there.
And deodorant, no aluminum.
No aluminum.
What?
Yeah. What is it? They probably have the same thing like toothpaste.
There is one.
No, that's not tartar. Tartar's what you're supposed to clean off.
Right? Yeah, man, you've been brushing your teeth wrong.
Yeah, man, I'm putting gingivitis all over it. I think it's fluoride. I think is their thing in that one.
That sounds about right.
Which
too much fluoride is not a good thing or something.
I heard somewhere that they put fluoride in our water to make our teeth whiter.
That's fascinating. I know that Orbit Gum does something to make.
I'm sure.
Like their big trade opposed to Extra 5 is that they make your teeth whiter, and you don't even have to buy there's an Orbit White brand, but there's also just Orbit, and they say like makes your teeth whiter.
Interesting.
So I'm like, but miss me with that because they don't last as long.
Yeah, right. They don't take
flavor.
Yeah. There's no nitrates in those. That's for sure.
No nitrates.
That's actually not to go on the whole
God.
rant, but yeah, that fluoride in the water thing is fascinating. It could be false, but I've heard it before. And then, like the idea is to strength fortify, XP your bones, and your teeth to get whiter.
Me personally, like that doesn't pose a problem.
No issue with me.
I like that. You know, I remember when I had braces. Like you can't drink soda. I did, but you can't drink soda because I guess it stains your teeth.
Oh, so when you take off the braces,
right? It leaves.
Oh,
obviously, there's like wherever the braces were was much whiter than where that was. It's kind of like a suntan, like farmer's tan, when you see the shirt was. And I've always found that fascinating. But they say like, well, if you use a straw and drink soda, you're good
because it just skips.
It skips the teeth. And but I guess with water, who drinks water with the straw? Nobody. Everybody.
That's sick if you do.
Right? Imagine you put a straw on this. Good point, Alan. Like, yo, what a...
I hate when restaurants give you straws for water.
Yeah, that's I feel gross.
Yeah, I'd rather just...
Yeah. So in this case, that makes sense because it's constantly hitting your teeth.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to it. I doubt it's all that dangerous. Now, something I always thought was weird is like when you do that rumor of they put little shards of glass and chapstick to keep you buying more.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
It's kind of interesting because
speaking of which, I'm gonna chap up. Go ahead.
There is I have a friend also who is a chapstick guy.
I know who you're talking about.
And I mean, I do chapstick, but not actually. I need to start doing chapstick. It's getting cold out there. It's getting really cold out there.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really bad. But he is. It's funny because, and I've seen you do this too, but he does this way more. It's all of a sudden like, we're talking, he's like, where's my chapstick?
Oh, it's an addiction, dude.
And I'm like, it's just chapstick. Like, dang. I can't, where is it? And I'm like, gee. Well, now at this point though, like if I see chapstick laying around, I know to pick it up because I know I'm saving a panic attack. From who? From one of my friends. So there's gotta be something in there because I'm seeing my homies bug out when they are missing their chapstick.
Yeah,
there has to be something.
Yeah, it gets bad. Like I'm like, okay, I'm doing this so my lips don't get chapped, right? Yes, for forever now. Like I've never had like the red swollen lips, nothing like. So they've never been officially chapped. So in a way, I think it absolutely does its job. But I will get like a burning on my lip. Like when I get out of the shower, like it's one of those things. Like
have to.
I need to right outside of my shower. Besides combing my hair, my first step is putting on chapstick. Like it's weird. It's very strange.
It is like it's. I almost wonder if it's almost like. I don't want to go too much into this because I think we were talking about nitrates, and now we're talking.
You know about nitrates?
But I don't know nothing. I just know they taste great.
They do. I guess it's a salt that they put on the meat to keep it like keep it to last longer.
Oh yeah.
But I guess some people say like it literally tastes better because it's a different kind of salt. And then we have like pink Himalayan salt. You have like sea salt, regular salt. I guess nitrate salt. I guess it has a different taste than normal salt.
Maybe there's like an addictive element to that too. Because I can down a whole tube or whatever, one of those plastic bins that you end up reusing for everything else. Of turkey.
Yes.
And turkey's not that great as we've talked about.
By the way, I don't think I like officially said this. Sorry to throw us off here, but like, I agree. Like turkey and ham, like miss me with the chicken. Like it doesn't. It almost feels too. It feels like I'm chewing plastic. It feels like a plasticky taste. And I feel like that's where lunch meat goes wrong. And then I do enjoy roast beef, but like I like an Arby's roast beef. I like a real roast beef.
Yeah.
The lunch meat, I always feel like it's missing something.
It's almost like it has to be warm.
Has to be warm 100%. how do you feel about salamis and like the prosciuttos, or are those like those are nice but with like cheese and crackers? Maybe they're not nice on a sandwich.
They're fun. I wouldn't like if I need lunch meat. I'm not gonna get the salami or the prosciutto or the bologna or whatever. Which bologna is a weird one too.
Yeah, factory made lunch meat.
That's weird.
I mean, all of it is right, but
all is, hot dogs, all that stuff too.
We like the Cremo colognes, right, or fragrances because they are they're synthetic, which maybe doesn't carry like a great reputation.
Yeah.
As to how it's made, but they do last really long. And I guess like a bologna, I will admit I do think it tastes really good, but like it's a weird it's not synthetic meat, but it feels like it's synthetic meat.
Weird, and it's like you pull up to the lunch table, and the kids and everyone slaps their lunchbox on the table. Everybody's looking at what everyone else has.
So
there's
aggressive.
the one kid opens up his lunchbox and it's aromatic. You just smell it, and he opens up his Ziploc baggie, and it's a bologna sandwich.
And the meat it looks like it's 5 slabs of lunch meat combined. So it's the thick, like veggie leather slab of just.
Oh my gosh, your eyes are opened at the lunch table. You're like, that? I didn't know that existed. I didn't know what bologna was until some kid in like 2nd grade started. I'm like, that stinks.
You know what's really cool about bologna though? Like, by the way, you just unlocked so many memories.
I'm
already picturing 2 names of the people at the lunch table that I sat with that had that joint.
Yep.
And you know what's cool about it though? Like Oscar Mayer, they patented it, so like you'll never find Kroger branded bologna. Like
that's bad. You're absolutely right.
There's no like off-brand version of it. Like it is their thing, and the fact that it sells after all this
they made
time,
their own meat,
right? That is cool.
No, you're absolutely right. I worked in the produce department at Target, and I would only stock Oscar Mayer bologna.
Yeah,
and we strategically put it at the bottom because if you were to look at the sales of bologna, but they keep sending these bologna boxes, which Oscar Mayer, if you're listening to this, are the worst packaged boxes.
Oh my gosh.
When you're stocking, you gotta have boxes. Like this is you never think about this, but like I never thought about this. How people package their product is so important.
Yeah.
Because for me, there were products that, I'll be honest, the boxes sucked, and it took 30 seconds to open, and I don't have the time to waste my time trying to open. So I would like, you know what, this product gave me nightmares. Who cares where I put it? If you make a packaged product, but you can open it so easily, I guarantee you I'm gonna take care of that product so much better. Because I hated that bologna, bro. I hated that bologna.
Alan rants about bologna.
I hated bologna because not only does it stink, but you gotta like. They don't know what they do. They engineer like this industrial. They gotta partner with the U.S. Army because these boxes, man, were such a pain. And then I just threw the bologna in. I'm like, there you go. Screw you, bologna. Screw you, Oscar Mayer.
Alan's villain origin story.
It's Oscar Mayer. I forgot about that. Dang.
You know what? But I bet all that Oscar Mayer frustration went out the window when we saw that wiener truck, bro. Remember the wiener truck?
I remember the wiener truck.
They had one of those Oscar Mayer wiener, like hot dog. It's not a hot dog. It's just a giant wiener truck.
Wiener truck.
Yeah, if you know what I'm talking about, look that up. The wiener.
Yeah, look up the wiener.
Oscar Mayer. Make sure you put Oscar Mayer in there first, though.
Yeah.
If you put wiener truck, I don't know what you're gonna see. Oscar Mayer wiener truck. We went to a Walmart and they had it, and like without hesitation, we're grabbing a photo.
Yeah, you have to. You never know when you're gonna see it again.
Yeah,
it's like seeing the Red Bull Mini Cooper.
Those little Mini Coopers.
Yeah,
big time. Oh man, dude, Oscar Mayer doing a sin, bro.
They doing a sin,
dude. That is.
I forgot about that. I guess I came to peace with Oscar Mayer after I saw the wiener truck.
I guess so.
The Wienermobile.
Yeah. Do we have? See, I was trying to build up some respect for the bologna name,
Mm-hmm.
and then you found a way just to take it down,
Take it down.
and that's okay.
I didn't like the memory.
Maybe some things,
Those boxes
like
sucked.
the placement of bologna in the produce section at the bottom, maybe some things are supposed to stay there.
Yeah, it's like, how is this still a business? I swear to you, we didn't sell much bologna.
And I think, going back, probably because there isn't a competitor for bologna,
True.
right? It really, I mean, maybe right. Like all the other lunch meats are technically a competitor, and I'm sure if we dug hard enough, there's something similar. But since it is kind of like there's only one kind like it, maybe that's why it stayed afloat for as long as it has. I always thought it kind of had like a Jello texture. Like it really was bouncy. It was kind of weird.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It was you knew it wasn't real.
Yeah.
It's like those Kraft singles. Like, that's not real cheese.
Let's weigh in. How do you feel about those?
I used to down Kraft singles.
Really? Okay.
I just remember being a little kid, but this is like before I developed the motor skills to unwrap the plastic around it. So I would like rip it apart. So, like that's how young I was. But I would go in the fridge and take out a Kraft single in like 30 seconds, just trying to It's just like me with the bologna box. But at least there was something good on the inside instead of bologna.
That's me with Band-Aids till this day.
Oh.
That concept of you open up the little flap and you peel it makes no sense. I just like try to tear into it.
That or what's it called? That it's not aluminum foil, but it's the wrap, saran wrap.
Saran wrap, bro.
Dude. We have some in our
But you open it up. This is the cut. Like I like that.
I have, dude. I have. Oh my gosh, our saran wrap in our drawer over there in the kitchen is a nightmare.
Oh man.
Thanks to me.
Used goods.
Yeah. So I did like the Kraft singles. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I guess a revelation of it all. I didn't realize how expensive they are. Like when I got into college and started doing my own grocery shopping, they're like $3.50, $4 for like maybe a pack of 50. Honestly, it's not even 50. Maybe it's like 30. And like, okay, wow, that gets you 30 burgers. Maybe 200 burgers, 15 burgers. Well, you're buying burgers that are $8 and $9 burgers. So like, this will get you to 2 or 3 packages of burgers.
Yeah,
that's not bad, right? Mm-hmm. Like on the surface, it makes sense. But like my family, maybe we had burgers like once a month, maybe once every 2 months. We weren't a burger household, but we always just had them.
Burgers or
I'm sorry, Kraft singles. So it was such an interesting thing to always have in our refrigerator. If we never really used them for burgers, they were always there. So I would always eat them casually. And then I guess it was never a fuss because we always had them when we had burgers. But I realized how expensive they are. And when you think about how expensive they are compared to what they taste like, kind of like turkey, it's some bum ass cheese.
It's not even.
It's not even real cheese.
It's not even real cheese.
And I think it tastes pretty mid. It kind of like bologna. It kind of has like this like plasticky kind of taste to it.
I think it peaked at a certain point.
Yeah.
You know how like they still sell this. You don't see it until you look for it. But like Spam.
Yes.
That was huge, I guess.
There was a moment in time where that was it.
I guess. I don't remember because it was like in the 60s.
Yeah.
But Spam was big.
Spam was the truth.
But they're still riding on the hype from 50 years ago. So
yeah, the packaging looks like it was from 50 years ago, too.
They haven't rebranded. They haven't.
It's like a navy blue, yellow, and like a pink.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit.
It's like that and like anchovies.
Oh, bro.
Sardines.
Yeah, dude.
They still sell them, but
yeah.
How are they still in business?
And something about sardines I like. I think it was a Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs thing where it's like you have this whole town based off livestock of sardines.
That's so cool.
And I think that pushed me to try it. And I'm like drenched in olive oil. And I'm like, wow, it's in a can. Like, that's cool.
Wow.
Like, I don't know. There's something about it. I'm a big Beastie Boys fan. And there's a Beastie Boys album cover of them all on like a tuna package can thing. I don't know. So I guess it's always like, well, I like the movie, I like the Beastie Boys, I like olive oil, and it's in a can. Like I've always just been geeked about it. But yeah, the stench will flood a room real quick. But yeah, and just to kind of put a nice little bow on this with the craft singles. I think it does, like, again, we were kind of crapping on it, but I guess the words up a little bit. I get why they sell. It is a convenience thing.
Yeah.
Like, you slap one of those on a burger, you hit the little spatula on the go, right? Yeah. You slap some buns on it, and the lettuce or a tomato. It has become essential, and I can't think of somebody out there who buys a wedge block of cheese, and they slice it into a perfect square to put on the... So I get it.
Or you're going to get real cheese for that? You have a family of 5 to feed? Like,
you loser, you're going to get real cheese?
You're going to get real cheese for that? Wow.
Wow, you must got a 3-car garage or bigger. Jeez.
Because the little 3-year-old is really, this ain't real cheese. I definitely respect, like, those families of 5, bro. 7. And,
I come, you know what? I worked all day.
I don't have the time for making real cheese right now.
To fake cheese?
A long day at preschool, okay? And I got fake cheese. There's still some plastic in here.
I traded Pokemon cards at lunch, and I picked my nose for 20 minutes, and I come home to this.
Those kids that sold Pokemon cards at lunch are the ones now that are like trading stocks.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's funny. But speaking of essential, love it or hate it, turkey is a staple and essential to Thanksgiving. And perhaps it's not the taste, but for me, there's no Thanksgiving without turkey because it symbolizes something. And whether it's a stepping stone to Christmas or not is a very special time. So I think Thanksgiving is it's a worthy holiday. That's for sure.
I agree. And to those of you that have been watching this episode or listening, we're wishing you a very happy Thanksgiving. Of course, this episode is going out the Monday of Thanksgiving, both of which we will be back with our families as well. So I'm also wishing you a very happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
And I'm looking forward to our next episode.
Absolutely.